This week in gratitude, episode 115. Here we go. I'm going to test out my settings.
What up?
Jason, what's going on, man?
How much? How you been?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm doing well.
Good. What's B doing? She's late again. She needs to leave early too.
Every time.
Start recording. Who's doing what?
That's a good question. Who is doing what? Who did what last time?
I think I picked last time. Does that
Yeah,
help
that's
us
right.
at all?
Yep. I picked this time. Jason, you do the introduction, and Bianca
All
goes
right.
first.
All right. We ready?
Hi, people.
Oh, hey.
Just
hey,
about.
B. Looking good. Look how refreshed you look.
That extra 15 minutes was the whole difference.
I
The game changer.
What did
The
you
game
say?
changer.
Like who? What did you?
I just said you look
Oh.
good. You look refreshed.
Yeah. I'm tired,
Yeah.
but I have my coffee.
Feel that?
I think I'm
like
choosing
it.
today. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I chose last time, I think.
Did I choose the time before that?
Nope, I did. So it's you,
Yeah,
Greg.
I'm up. That's what I thought. Yeah, I
Yeah.
choose.
Sorry.
Jason does the intro. You go first.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Greg
Just
down
start
there.
over. Just start
Okay,
over.
okay, just
And
start
take
over.
a breath. Let it go for like quiet for like 30
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
10 seconds.
30
So then I
seconds.
can edit it.
Except you can clap. You could have clapping or something.
No, I guess we could start with clapping, theoretically.
Yeah, yeah.
You can breathe while you clap.
Preemptive clapping. Yeah.
All right. Is that long enough? Bianca muted it. Okay.
There's a bus going by.
You've joined us. Hey. Okay. Mute your thing. Mute. Everybody mute. Everybody mute
Nope.
except me. Everybody mute except me.
I'll
Okay.
Make sure no buses go by.
No buses go by. You've joined us maybe again. Maybe this is your first time. This is a podcast called This Week in Gratitude. I'm Jason Griffiths. I'm a pastor up here in Muskegon, Michigan. We have a pastor over there in Seattle, Washington. Her name is Bianca Quezada. She's representing it for the Northwest. Whoop, whoop. And then we got Greg down in San Antonio, Texas. And we're pastor down there, and he's the Episcopal. He's the high church of us. Me and B are Presbyterian background. Now I'm working at a Bible church. We just look at it. This is a chance to check in as friends. We've been friends for a little over a decade, and we love to just hear what's going on in each other's lives. So we check in with one another. And if you like it, subscribe to it, recommend it, put it on your Facebook wall, Twitter it, share it to Obama and friends. I don't know what you want to do with it, but we want to get a free T-shirt is the real deal. So let's work until that happens. I think somebody else starts. Do I start when I do this intro?
No, somebody else is going to start. But we do have a Twitter handle now, right, B?
Yes, I forgot what it was. And also, just for the
Woo-woo.
record, I don't want a free T-shirt. I have enough T-shirts.
Well,
Send
too
my
bad.
extra T-shirt to Jason.
I keep meaning to text you pictures of Zeke. He loves the T-shirts that you gave him. That's mainly his go-tos. He has that light blue one where you went to Mexico and prayed or something, and he's got all
Because you
his.
took some home.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, you
for
gave 'em.
our program shirts, and you went through them and took some extras.
This is riveting.
Yep, there were small things. This is
Okay.
Oh, and I forgot to mention how it works. We all say like 3 things that we're grateful for, and at the end, one of us, picks out 5 of them that are better than the other.
Yeah.
Whatever 6.
This week I get to pick that.
And then
your
we
intro might be
recently-
number 1, Jason. I don't even know.
And then we recently added B-sides, which is just out of the box. Bianca just comes out from the Northwest, boom, just with a question that shakes everybody to its core. Okay.
Okay. The Twitter handle is called, it looks like Weeking Gratitude, but it's Week in Gratitude. At
Week in Gratitude.
Follow us. And my idea for it, I'm hoping that once the link goes live, then I'll tweet it out, and then you can listen to it right from the link I sent out. So maybe we'll put some extra nuggets in there, but for the most part, that's what this is going to be.
Yeah, and if you have suggestions for B-sides or for other things you want us to talk about, send the note there. That's a good spot. We'll check that out.
Yes. Okay. Are we going?
We're going. You get to go first.
Got all our t-shirt talk out? Okay.
Oh, let's do this. Let's just set a goal. Once we hit 5,000 downloads, we'll get t-shirts.
Like, who's getting these t-shirts?
Jason and I'll work it out. I got an idea.
I'll work it out. I got a t-shirt guy.
But so everybody knows, we're at like 3,300 right now. So when we get to 5,000, then that's t-shirt range.
They're going to be This Week in Gratitude t-shirts.
10,000 is a new car, so
it's a new car.
It's a Mazda Miata.
Okay, here I go. This past weekend, we had fall retreat for the middle schoolers, and it was exhausting. But it was super fun. I didn't plan early enough, so all last week I was just crunch time, getting it all in, buying extra stuff for the kiddos. But while we're there, it sounds like a retreat. Obviously, it's not. I mean, it's 90 kids and 15 adults just kind of like having fun outside for a whole weekend. But it went so well. And last night we had youth group, and so to see everybody come back together again, and we showed a video. My intern Peter made an awesome video, probably the best we've ever had for fall retreat. Because I usually make them. So it was really good, just a really good feel to be out in nature for a couple days. It snowed actually on the last day, which to the kids was like amazing, and to me, I'm like, how are the buses going to get down this hill to come pick us up? Actually, what ended up happening is the kids had to go walk up to the top of this huge hill to go catch the buses because they really couldn't come down. So snow was fun. Worship was great. It was just a really good feeling. It always is fall retreat. Sometimes, for example, last year I had to send a kid home. This year did not have to send a kid home. So
nice.
Very positive. I regrouped and refreshed over Sunday. We get back Sunday afternoon. So had Sunday evening to regroup, didn't come in on Monday. I'm feeling a little bit better, but I'm getting older, so every year it takes a little longer to recover from fall retreat. But that's definitely making me happy this week. We had a great time. Leadership really came together. The kids really came together, and it was super fun.
What was the theme this year, B?
Well, this year was not a movie theme, which really got the boos out from the kiddos. They did not like that. But I am an astronomy major, physics astronomy from UW. So this year the theme was space.
Oh
and every time I mention it, they go, boo.
Yeah, hard to believe that's the response.
But the ISKA team took it and ran with it, and they did kind of like this Lost in Space theme, and there was like this penguin named Kevin we had to catch, and like this lost astronaut, and they made it really cool. Like they made the skits really fun and like engaging in it. They went into the games, but really the talks were more about like creation. We spent a lot of time in Genesis, and then just talking about how great our creation is, but it's broken. So I got to talk about science a lot, and a lot of the kids, that's their thing, and some of them are even getting the message that you can't like science and be a Christian. And so I love spending 3 days in you can. So it was space themed. It was called Lost in Space, but we talked a lot about different science stuff in relation to creation and what we can know about the natural world, and how we can tap into the supernatural world through other means that we can't study.
Excellent.
Nice.
Yay, space.
Yeah.
Space.
My first one is Spoon, the new album by Spoon. The new album by Spoon, the Hot Thoughts. Wicked good band, wicked good album. I like how they just try different stuff. This one's a little light on the guitar and more of on keys, and neat. Just really, really good stuff. It's a wicked good album. Tight, good music. I like that band. They're from Austin. So it kind of
Greg, have you heard of that band?
Nope. We continue our streak of every pod.
We even live in Texas.
No idea what goes on.
45 minutes away from where they're
Listen,
from.
I have a serious music question.
Oh gosh.
When
Is this a
you
B-side?
like, no, it's not like that. Like when you like an album when it comes out, and then the next week you like another album that comes out. How does an album ever like live in the pantheon of albums for you? Like, can you just cycle through? Yeah, I know, but how do you ever go back to re-listen to them? I guess I just don't understand how anybody finds that much time to listen to music. Yeah, that's
I don't see. That's a question for me because with podcasting, I can't. That's if I tried to add podcasting. By the way, I tried to listen to that Malcolm Gladwell. It's a no-go. It's a no-go. If that's the best podcast,
we're a Venn diagram of like interest. Yeah. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I love this.
If that's the best that podcasts have to offer, I'm like,
We're the best that podcast has to offer, Jason.
Amen. So I don't know.
So for music, for me, I think it's re-listens. Like I'll think an album's okay on the first listen, and then if I give it another try, I usually like it more and more and more and more. And like I'm thinking, for example, like the band War on Drugs came out with an album, and I remember being like, oh, I like this, but then it literally, I would listen to the whole album every day over and over again. I'm like, I think this might be one of my favorite albums. And it just takes repetition and like finding your favorite line, can't wait till it comes up kind of thing, recommending it to others. So then you're kind of like stuck to it.
So that I get. That I get.
Yeah.
What I'm asking is,
since
that can't possibly happen if every week you're listening to a whole new album.
Oh, I know. That's Jay.
That's why I asked him.
Oh, I thought you were asking both.
How does any album move into that? Like,
usually albums that I mention are albums that hook me back into loving that band, and I'm listening to that music all the time. Nice. I always have music on. Like right now, it just ran out. Like otherwise, plus it annoys people when there's music playing in the background of us talking. But I'm always listening to this stuff. But this is actually an amazing time, right? There's a bunch of albums that are coming out, and I put Spoon at the top because it seems like it's the most. If I had to pick the ones that if I had to pick the one out of all the ones that I thought are amazing right now, I think Spoon's actually at the top of the heap. I think it's like Beck. That Beck's new album is an honorable mention. Like that's like this whole thing could be filled with that double album that Pearl Jam just did. We can't go too long without mentioning Pearl Jam, but that was almost on there just because they picked all the right songs on that. And I can't think.
So here's another question tied to that one. Yeah. If you ask me my favorite movies, right, I can come up with a pretty good list, and it's going to be fairly split between like things I watched when I was a kid and things I watch now. If you ask me my favorite albums, it's going to tilt heavy the other way. Like it's going to be mostly albums that came out a long time ago. Like my favorite albums are albums that hit when I was like in high school or college. And there's like one or two in the last 10 years that I would probably slide into that mix. But I'm wondering, like, because I wonder too, like, music is a different thing. I don't know how it works exactly, but like movies, the technology increases and whatever. And so I don't know, like it feels like movies, TV shows, that medium is a medium where your favorite movies or TV shows may still be coming out. Whereas music, I sort of feel like, I don't know what would have to happen for it to become my favorite album that was just released. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure. Do you think there's a window of opportunity for music where music just hits a sweet spot at a certain point and then you're just adding to that from then on, or is it like diminishing returns from there?
That's a wicked good question. Yeah, I don't know the answer because I think that's individual. I think there's ones that hit me at a level that they're like my favorite albums and can't be changed.
Right.
I don't know, but that's a good question. But I don't know if I have an answer for it. I think Spoon was post graduating college. I was working in ministry and that kind of jazz when I first found out about Spoon.
Yeah.
And
That's cool.
but I think they're on the same level as those college bands and those high school bands.
That's cool.
I think it expands in me. I don't know if it.
Yeah, that's why I was curious. Yeah.
Yeah. If there's enough good, but if you put like, if you have to choose between your childhood favorite and like your current, like the newer favorite.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something. I think the childhood favorite is going to be a little, like if you're stranded on a desert island, would you rather have Spoon Hot Thoughts or would you have Fugazi Bad Medicine? I would say Fugazi Bad Medicine every single time, or Red Medicine, not Bad Medicine.
Yeah, well, so here's another way to think about it, right? Like if you had to pick just the best songs to you individually from every decade of your life, which decade would you most like to listen to? Because for me, it's not even close. I don't think. I think it's the 90s, 1000%. Like I don't think there's another one close. But that's high school and college for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I think on certain days and certain times, I think that changes. You know?
Yeah. And it might just be that I don't progress as a person. That's a possibility. That's a possibility.
Yeah. Currently, I've loved listening to like the newer sounds. And I think currently it's because a lot of it has to do with my little brother and I, just our friendship and our relationship. And I love bands that he showed me and vice versa. That kind of
it's so weird though, right? Like that how we like things or what we like is so dependent on external factors from the thing itself.
That's true.
It's a weird dynamic. And as an artist, I would imagine that would just infuriate you. Maybe not. Maybe they don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. I was just wondering.
All right. We're not swimming in time. We got to get.
No, I know. B.
Out on the road. What's your number?
All right.
What's your number one?
My number one is, I'll go kind of same thing B got to do. We got to do a weekend away doing relief work this weekend. We went down to Rockport and helped a family demolition their home with no power. So it was all by hand, like, crowbars and sledgehammers and all that stuff. And man, it was so much fun and good work. Like there's something about service work that really matters. Like sometimes you do trips and it's like, hey, we'll help at the food bank, but it's like somebody else is going to do this eventually, or they have people who are on staff who do this or whatever. But this family had gotten a new trailer and they couldn't get power or water connected to their trailer until their other house was demolished because of the way the city laws work. And so they were just in a holding pattern until people could demolish this house. And so it was like we were like literally changing their lives for the next couple of years because they can all of a sudden get power now, which is huge. And so that was really, really cool. It's amazing. Like the devastation down there is insane.
Wow.
It's still really, really crazy. There was one of the most striking things is they have what they call a boat barn, which is just this huge pole shed with hundreds of boats in it that you put your boat in it, and then when you want to go on the water, you come in and check it out, kind of like a car parking garage or something. And the boat gets put down in the water, and then you take it out. Just totally decimated. Boats upside down. The boat barn itself just totally destroyed. But it was amazing. It was the other thing that was kind of cool about it is for Allie and I going down there again. That was like stories of like the service trips you guys did with her and that we did together just kept coming up. I'm like, man, that's true. Like those are that was good stuff. So I don't know. So that was for me, that was super awesome. I'm grateful for the chance to do that every once in a while and to actually serve and know that you're making a difference in people's lives, like on the ground, day-to-day lives. That's fun. So.
Yeah. My aunt and uncle live in Rockport. You might have gone by their place.
Hopefully it wasn't their place. I'd have said hi if I didn't know that.
No, I think their place got through unscathed, actually. So.
Yeah, it's weird. It was really weird. On the same street, like there was one house that lost a roof. This house got totally decimated, and there were two houses that didn't get touched.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just nuts.
That's crazy.
That's so
yeah,
sad.
it reminds me of when we went down to Louisiana with Yumin in San Antonio. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And we demolished houses. It was so cool. Like literally like pushing a house. I mean, after days of work and then pushing it over. That was crazy.
Yeah. And actually, I when you were talking, I was just thinking, that's really where Allie shines. You know, she's she's a pretty good pastor and all that jazz, but man, she's an amazing servant. I think that's when Allie Malenkon blows up. I think that's good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a little jealous. of you on that one.
Well, listen, we're gonna do a trip in March.
I'm coming down in January.
Spring break,
I wanted to say that.
If anybody wants to join us, you're welcome to join us.
What's the date on the
March? If you're listening to this and you want to join us, I
do you have the dates on it yet?
Like the 10th. I do. It's like the 10th through the something. I think. Let me see. I lied about that. No, it's going to be, I think the 11th through like the 14th or 15th.
Okay, 14th to 15th. I'll look into that.
Put it down. Bring your kid.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Who's next?
It's me. So I said I went to Fall Tree, didn't come into work on Monday to take it easy, and I went to the movies by myself, which is it took me a couple years to get used to that, but now I kind of like it. And I went and saw The Florida Project. It's an independent film. And it's about the projects of Florida. It's not really projects, it's these families, and it's real life. One of my roommates is from Florida, and I was telling her about this movie, and she's like, oh yeah, this really happens, is people live in hotels and motels because they don't have, permanent housing, and there's kids being raised in this environment. And the movie follows a little kid, a 5-year-old, and she's amazing in it, and she has 5-year-old friends. And you kind of are going through her vision, like, what a cool life this is. You just can kind of like walk around and your mom is right there in the room with you all the time. And then the movie, as the movie goes, you're kind of expanding into like what this world is actually about. And the one famous name in the movie is Willem Dafoe, is the hotel manager. And he's really just trying his best to keep these families afloat and watching over the kids. And it's just a really powerful movie. It's shot really beautifully. The story is heartbreaking, but the acting is really good. The little kid actor is really good. Her mom is, it's just devastating. Obviously, Willem Dafoe is really good in it. But if you get a chance to see Florida Project, I would recommend it, especially if you like movies. I have a feeling it's going to win a lot of independent awards. I don't know how much it's being talked about on the in the larger award categories, but I really enjoyed it, and I really like movies. So if you get the chance, see that one. Have you guys heard of that one?
I haven't heard of it yet. Yeah, it's the first time.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I did with my day off, and then I got a parking ticket. So the whole thing cost me $63 to go watch this.
No.
63. That's cheap, though. I remember my wife.
Well, the ticket was $40, but then plus the actual parking I paid for and went over, and then the ticket. I was like, I could have just walked here.
You could have bought the movie, probably.
Yeah, I remember my wife parked in Pasadena, because she was running into that office depot or something like that. So because she was going to get a cheap printer. It was like a printer was on sale for like $100. and our car got towed. So it was like a $400 printer. It was awesome. It was on sale.
Yeah.
Oh my
so gosh. I like the movie, but in my mind it has this like gray cloud over it. Like maybe I just shouldn't have gone. But it was a good one. So Florida Project, go watch it.
Worth $60. I'll go see it for $6.
For that $10 monthly pass you told me about.
Yeah.
Dang,
has anybody signed up for that thing?
I started to. I did not finish signing it.
I'm so tempted to sign up for that thing every day.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Mortality. It's a poem. It's a poem by William Knox, and he lived from 1789 to 1825. And the story behind this poem is kind of why a couple weeks ago, last week, I went to see Ben Folds, and it didn't make my top 3. I think one of my main reasons was I went with this old buddy of mine who's a classically trained pianist. So he's phenomenal on the piano. And we grew up together. We were like high school, college, and that kind of jazz together. Kid's got an amazing heart. My age, I called him a kid, but his name's Chris Frank. And we were watching Ben Folds, and it was kind of like a midlife crisis experience, like, and when we were buddies listening to Ben Folds, I kind of thought that Chris would end up on stage like that. But the cards didn't work out that way. He said yes to Jesus, and Jesus pulled him over, and he worked with refugees in Austria for like a decade, met his bride, came over, did some business stuff, and is now just a part-time business administrator at a church. And I don't know, it was just like this midlife crisis kind of experience, like, and I wanted to write a poem about it. I wanted to write like, hey, just because the fall weather's here and it's beautiful out here in Michigan, by far the best season in Michigan is fall, hands down, nothing else even comes close. And then so I wanted to write a poem about it, just about, feeling like, man, I wish I was more famous. I wish something had happened. I wish I was bigger than this, like midlife. Yeah. And I wish my friend, like, you ever get that with Greg? Like, why isn't that guy, playing in front of millions of people, like, why, like, I don't get it. I don't get the reasoning. And, like, just questioning, kind of lamenting, psalming or whatever. And so then I'm putting together this, because we're celebrating Thanksgiving 2 or 3 weeks early at our church, and we're doing a Thanksgiving like potluck right after our service this Sunday. So I put together this table trivia, and so I'm putting together this table trivia, and the question is like, who is responsible for legally, like putting Thanksgiving as a national holiday, and the answer is Sarah Hale. And I always love that because it's a woman. I love it when women are behind everything. But
I like it when women are in front of everything, Jason. I'm more
it's a carryover from Women Are the Year, the year of 2016.
Yeah, your year of women. That's right.
My year of women, but I was wrong because Hillary lost or whatever. But anyway, so I'm looking for answers. To like as fake people, and so I look up the question, what's Abraham Lincoln's favorite like musician, and it spurred me on to. He didn't really have a favorite musician, but he had a favorite poem, and that's this poem, Mortality by William Knox, and it has a lot of the same theme. And the first line is, "Oh, why should the spirit of mortal be proud?" I don't know. It's a wicked good poem. So highly recommend looking it up, especially during this fall season where poetry seems to match the weather outside, and being pensive seems to be rewarded. I don't know.
Did you say you wrote a poem too?
Say again?
You wrote a poem?
I did write a poem, but it stunk. My poem stunk.
You were gonna read us your poem.
No. Then I read my poem kind of stunk, and so as I was looking for this, and I stumbled across this really well written poem, I'm like, oh, that's kind of what I was trying to go for.
Yeah,
Anywho.
Hey, listen, I'm excited. This might be the first poem ever on Gratitude.
Although we have talked about Wendell Berry.
Yeah, we talked about
but not as like the main, the best thing.
Not a specific poem. I think this is the first, man.
That's true. I think we've had Dylan Thomas, and I think we've had Wendell Berry.
Yeah, we've definitely talked about poets, but
I got you, Greg.
Come on. Okay, I like first. I like when we do something for the first time.
What you're saying is no. I'm just
All right. Awesome. All right. My second one is sort of connected to that a little bit, Jason. At least some of the rambling connects. Oh man, it's another one where on the surface the thing isn't something you're grateful for, but the response to the shooting in Sutherland Springs, which is very close to San Antonio, and it's been really fascinating and encouraging in a lot of ways to watch the response of people in my life and Christians in my life try to come to grips with what that means and what it might mean and what it doesn't mean and that kind of thing. And to watch contemporary Christians lean into prayers of lament and psalms of lament and sort of public grieving. And I don't know if it's true or not, but it feels like a move that would not have happened like 10 years ago. Or maybe it's just where I was in my life, I wouldn't have noticed it or paid attention to it. That's possible too. But it's been, we've been able to do that in our college ministries this week. We just took the week and said, we're not going to preach. We're going to pray for hurricane relief, and we're going to pray for Sutherland Springs, and we're going to pray for the finals. And so we created this like kind of liturgical thing where we had music and prayer and chances to reflect and quiet. And I don't know, man, it's just, it's being able to do that together instead of just by ourselves has been really amazing and important. I also got to go through a service on Tuesday led by one of our bishops, Jennifer Brooke Davidson, and she has this beautiful prayer, and we kind of lit candles for all the people who died in Sutherland Springs and just structured the liturgy around it. It is amazing too. I don't know, there's something really important about that, and that's come up before. I know we've talked about lament a lot before, and that it's not something we do naturally well, but that it's something that's really, really important. And I do think it's a place where liturgical churches are better than non-liturgical churches.
It's true.
There aren't, I don't know what the percentage is on who wins what, but I think lamenting and grieving and even funerals, maybe to some degree, I think liturgical churches have some base practices that allow them to do that well. And so it's been encouraging to be part of that and to see that and to be able to practice it as somebody who's praying it and then practice it as somebody who's leading it. That's been really encouraging. And I think the conversations around it online have been equally discouraging. So I didn't go that direction, but yeah. But yeah, I think within the churches, this one, because it happened in a church and it happened in a church so close to us, I think hit home in a different way than some of the other things that have happened.
I totally agree with you that about that high church being accessible to lament easier. I think that's true, because I was thinking of how I could, although my congregation could get there, it would take a lot more explaining. I think you just have a quicker. Do you think that this is just a question that popping up to my mind? Do you think that the higher church, like the Episcopal, like those higher churches, have a stronger connection with Judaism?
Yeah, I do. I think the liturgy itself is rooted in certain Old Testament, historically Jewish practices.
Do you think that you fall in the Pharisaical trap quicker too then?
Yeah, that's interesting. That is totally possible.
Yeah,
it's entirely possible.
I was just thinking through, because I see that as a minimal downside, but I don't see much of. I think the pros outweigh the cons in that. Like I wish I could turn in that direction. Being at it's just basically a Bible church. I wish I could turn on a dime and have that as. I think that's a really powerful and useful tool for the church, is to be able to grieve together and be able to do it like correctly and using similar language so that everybody's hearing the same sadness. Like I was thinking, if I did my Griffiths, springing on them, hey, this is the service of lament, it would just confuse people.
Yeah,
crazy, and everybody would hear something totally different.
And I think so. I've wondered before, and we don't have to talk about this because we're running out of time, but I've wondered before if, like, the cost of being really good in those rare moments of like celebration or funerals, like lament, if the cost of that is you have to go through every boring Sunday. Versus like, in my non-denominational, like my lower church friends, I enjoy the every Sunday in and out more there.
Yeah, yeah.
But the really high stuff never gets as high, and the really low stuff never gets quite as low. And I don't know if the trade-off's worth it or not. I haven't figured that one all the way out yet. But anyway,
that's fun to talk. That's one of my favorite parts of what you've taught me as a friend. You know. Anywho, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving.
I can go. Sorry, this is not on the same track at all. But
yeah, my bad.
Sorry.
Fireworks.
Saves money. Last one. So my last one. Here we go. About face. I had some time to catch up on my shows because I obviously coming back from Fall Retreat. And one of my favorite shows, I don't know if we've already talked about it, sorry if we haven't, but I don't love prank shows, but I love Nathan For You.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know if you guys watch this show, but I don't even know if I laugh so much as I'm like watching it with my hands covering my eyes and being like, Nathan, like I know I say that a lot when I'm watching the show. Not sure if I laugh, but it definitely like hits parts of my comedy brain in ways that nothing else I watch does, because I don't really like prank stuff. This is barely prank stuff, but you know, you're kind of like, am I laughing at the person or am I laughing at how ridiculous Nathan is? And it's a little bit of both. It's not like punked or anything like that, but it is like over the top, like umpteenth degree of like silly ideas taken to as far with as big a budget as you can imagine. And I watched the show with my hands over my eyes, screaming at Nathan at the TV, but it makes me so happy to watch it. And I wish more of my friends watched Nathan For You so I could talk about it, but a lot of my friends don't even know what it is. And it's on Comedy Central, so if you get a chance and you kind of maybe like awkward humor, this one's for you, Nathan For You.
I love prank shows, and I think he is what everybody else has been practicing for. I think like he's the legit one. I think like all these prank shows have come up with some pretty clever ideas, but I think he's taken, I like him more than most. I like prank shows, and I think he's A+ of all the prank shows. Yeah, I think he's the best of all.
Prank show, I guess.
I don't think it's a prank show. I would disagree, but I do love the show, and I hate prank shows. So the reason it's not a prank show in a certain way is because he is also subject to the prank.
Yeah.
If it's a prank show,
that doesn't make it not a prank show.
It does.
9 times out of 10. The prank shows are on him, you know, like he's pulling the prank on him usually.
Yeah, but he knows about it, which makes it not a prank.
Yeah.
But it's like it's amazing so I think this show is super valuable on the level
of he's pulling pranks, you know, like didn't he do that Starbucks thing? Like
but that wasn't a prank. That's the point. Like it wasn't
that's a prank. That's a total prank. And when he puts his pictures of genitalia in the background of when he was doing Facebook things or Instagram, that's pranks. These are prankster things. This is what's
hot debate here.
I guess like the definition we're like debating even the basis of
it. Look up the definition of prank, would you?
I will. Me? Okay.
For me, a prank has to be on somebody. Right?
No, I think a prank is just a prankster. Like they hang a horse head up in the middle of a tree. You know, I think that's a prank. that's actually
an example.
I think that's a crime.
Example. Yeah.
That was
graffiti or vandalism or something, man.
No, that was a classic senior prank at this Catholic school in Fullerton. Their mascot was a horse, and they actually took a horse head, like a dead horse, and they put it up at the top of the street, and there's all these crows and buzzards and shit that showed up in the street.
But the point is, in that prank, there is a specific group that is being pranked.
Well, unfortunately, in the definition I looked up, there are 2 definitions. One is just a practical joke or mischievous act, which is what Jason's saying. And number 2 is play a trick or practical joke on someone.
Yeah. Jason's right for the first time
in history. And one is a verb.
In the history of this podcast.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Listen to the second part, Jason.
Yeah. Okay, go. No, because the number 1, it's always the number 1 definition.
No,
it is 2.
Number ones. They're both number 1. One is a noun, which is Jason's a prank, and one is
Frank.
2 prank, and the number 1 is Greg's definition.
Okay.
Okay, why is it valuable, Greg? I want to hear what
So
you
we're
guys
both
think.
right.
Oh yeah, I think it's valuable because I think it deconstructs the idea of expert.
Yeah, because he came from a really good business school.
Well, like he's constantly putting himself as like, I am this expert, but it's really obvious that he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's very clear that he's not an expert. But then
Did anybody else?
It undercuts a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
Did you catch him on Conan O'Brien?
No.
No, but one of the pranks is him on Jimmy Kimmel. One of the episodes is him getting together this elaborate thing. It's not even a prank, it's just a story to get ready for Jimmy Kimmel.
I saw that when Kimmel when he went on Conan, he somehow he got Susan Sarandon as a backup guest. So Susan Sarandon just came out after and sat next to him, didn't say a word. It's awesome. You should look at that clip because. And right at the end of his bit, he says, "Hey, and Conan, can you help me with like half the cost of flying her out here?" and she leaves. It was awesome. It's a wicked. Anyway, that guy's funny.
His podcast with Bill Simmons is fantastic.
I've listened to that. Greg,
that one was. I laughed so hard throughout that one. Jason,
don't
don't worry about it.
listen
It's
to
just
that
people
podcast.
talking, so you won't like it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Does anybody get blown up?
And I downloaded that one in particular. I don't even listen to that podcast.
Yeah, it was so good.
It was
so funny.
Let's keep us moving. Moving. Here's my third and final. Is that right?
Yeah.
My third and final is we had a man night. So I back when I was working in Newport Beach, I remember the story of I just made a best friend by calling this guy my best friend.
Yeah.
His name is Ben Newcott, and he invited me to this thing called Man Night, and it was just a group of guys late at night on a Sunday night getting together and just talking about life and around a campfire behind this guy's house. And so I took that up to San Marino, and I had a man night up in San Marino, and it was good. It was a really fun thing. It was just checking in with all these folk. And then I started one up here, and it's been slow going. But this last one, a bunch of people just kind of caught on and said, "Hey, let's invite a couple buddies." So it was like a normal man night, and it was in a certain, like there's certain pieces that make you feel like you. Yeah, it was that in this. I love that in my puzzle. It's just because I felt a little bit like a misfit in especially this area, like just having some buddies to cruise through life with, and where I can take my mask off and just I love that. Just be adjacent. And so this dude, it was fun. It was really fun. So
nice work, man.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. That's really cool. That's super encouraging.
And shout out to Ben Newcott, and shout out to Augie Flores, because he's up in San Marino. He was the man night guy up in, and he's the reason that we have a knife exchange in December at our man night. It's like a white elephant gift exchange, only everybody brings a knife. And you unwrap it and you steal it, and stuff. It's fun.
Sounds fun.
Just clean fun.
Clean fun.
All right. We use the knives.
Rather than talk about knives, I'm going to launch into my third one. I'm reading a book right now by a guy named Alan Jacobs called How to Think, which is phenomenal, but it's not going to be one of my top 3 because I'm going to use it next week. But but there's a line in there that unpacks something that I've been trying to figure out how to unpack probably my entire adult life. So I was very excited about this. And the line is that in some scenarios, the diagnosis is the treatment. And so what he's pointing out is that there are things in our lives where knowing the thing or having the thing named correctly is all the treatment we need to recover from it. And so like his example is he pulled a muscle once when he was sick, coughing, and then like a week later, he had this really bad chest pain. And so then he got nervous about this chest pain, and then his chest pain got worse, and he went to the doctors, and they tried all this stuff to figure out what it was. And finally the doctor told him it's a muscle pull from when you first pulled your muscle. And so he said, "So what do I have to do now?" And he goes, "Nothing. The diagnosis of this is the treatment of it. Now that you know what it is, it'll go away because you won't be stressed about the ramifications of it. You won't think you're having a heart attack every time your chest hurts, and that'll solve the problem itself. Your chest will hurt less." And I just I don't know. My entire adult life, I've been looking for a way to explain why it matters that we articulate correctly what's going on around us, or how we see things the right way, or name things. And like, the diagnosis is the treatment. It's not always true, right? But it is. But when it is true, we like immediately know it. It's like, oh, good, now I know what that is.
I'd say about 8 out of 10 times that's true. I think that the diagnosis is the treatment. I especially like with counseling. That's one of the hugest lessons I learned in counseling is there's black holes that you're feeling off, and you're missing things, and you're overreacting. Like you'll just explode over missing a parking spot or something like that, and you'll just be furious. And my therapist would always say, what's that really about? There's got to be something, that's some kind of a black hole, or an idea that's not out, that you're not aware of, because it's in your subconscious. But once you figure that out, it is the treatment. And that happens so much with like grieving, when I'm missing my mom. Like, I'm missing my mom, and boom, peace comes in. That's the diagnosis. It is the treatment. That's awesome. Yeah. You brought the heat, the last one.
I know. That's a good line, right? It's a good line.
Yeah. Who says that?
Now choose a...
It's a guy named Alan Jacobs in a book called How to Think. It just came out in October. It's phenomenally good.
But it's not this week.
It's not this week's. It's just the quote. I just want to focus on the quote.
Okay.
And next week I might focus on the whole book. Spoiler.
Chapter by chapter.
Yeah.
Yep. Be a 6-hour podcast.
That's
right. Go.
All right, here we go. I'm going to rank them. Top 5.
No.
5 best.
Just keep over, Greg.
Oh, boy.
5 best.
Notes here. I got to find my notes. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
In no particular order.
I know for sure Space did not make it. So we'll
No. It was Fall Retreat. Go on.
All right. Number 5, Fall Retreats.
Woo!
Number 4, Diagnosis is the treatment. Number 3, I'm going to put Mortality on there, Jason. I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited that you liked the poem and that you told us about it. Yeah. So that's going on there. Number 2, Man Night. I know what that's like, and I know what that means for you. I'm really excited. And number 1, Nathan, for you.
Whoa!
Strong week in this week.
That was gratitude. B-sides.
Okay, boom. Music. Okay, this one shouldn't take very long. I just want to know what your favorite Thanksgiving dish is on Thanksgiving.
On the actual day of Thanksgiving.
For Thanksgiving.
All right. I'm leaning towards, are we ruling out desserts?
No, because I was just going down the list.
Right. I think I'm probably going to say stuffing, and it's only because I don't eat it any other time of the year.
Oh, that's
really
like
the only
box?
day. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but
box stuffing,
it's probably boxed. But it's like, I really don't eat it any other day of the year. This is the only day I eat it. And I'm not a huge Thanksgiving food guy, so it's not my favorite meal, but I do like stuffing.
I'd say mine is the pecan pie. I make it for the family, and it's always the best part.
And just a note on that's what I've taken most from. That is one of the lessons that you guys taught me. Is that how you guys all work on different parts, and you make it really a team, a family thing. I think
my mom does the most, but yeah.
But that's
everything has to have an Aaron Rodgers.
I just wanted to point out that set the Griffiths family free. Honestly, that
we go in our PJs all day, and we do our part whenever we get time.
We stole a chapter out of your book, and I was never really a Thanksgiving dude. I didn't really like any of the food, and I didn't really, I don't know. I was just, and it was kind of a key that unlocked it and Malia stole it from you and just said, "Hey, we're doing this just because this is our family, and we're going to follow after the Quesada Atkins family, and we're doing it anyway." Nice. So thanks for that. My number 1 is the sweet potatoes. My mother-in-law makes amazing sweet potatoes, and they're fermented. She makes them a couple days earlier, so they're sick. They're so
amazing. We don't do sweet potatoes.
They're fermented.
Yeah, not that's a horrible term. No, they haven't rotted and you can't get drunk off them, but
they've been marinating or something, or like
yeah, they're marinated. She makes them earlier. Like that's the first dish she works on.
I gotcha.
Because
it's soak up the juices.
Yeah, it's soak up the juices, and it's phenomenal. Sweet potatoes, candied yams, all that jazz.
Man.
Okay, that's it. Just really wanted to know that about you guys.
Yeah.
This week,
now you know.
Now you know. Now you know.
Knowing's half the battle.
All right. Thank you for listening to This Week in Gratitude. We are grateful you listened. See what I did there, B?
Yep.
Yeah. So listen anytime. Tell your friends, please. If we get to 5,000, Jason gets a T-shirt. So let's get there. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
We did it. Bye.
Later. Bye.